Oh my goodness. Buenos días, mi nombre es Marta Alcala-Williams y yo soy la coordinadora de padres, familias y la comunidad aquí en el distrito de Asheville City Schools. Y pues hoy les voy a hablar a todos ustedes sobre qué es la inclusividad. Oh wait, did y'all not get the little headsets? Because I'm going to do the whole thing in Spanish. They didn't give it to you? Oh, okay. How'd that feel? It's a little awkward, right? Well, not for all of you, because some of you probably speak Spanish. So I just said that my name is Marta Alcala-Williams, Parent and Family Engagement Coordinator for Asheville City Schools. And I am going to talk to you about inclusivity. And I'm glad that Rachel so beautifully said what I really feel about the word. But before we start, I want everyone to get up for a minute. I got to do this everywhere I go now. And we're going to take 2 minutes. You may close your eyes if you want, or you can keep them open. And I'm just going to invite you to hum for 2 minutes, okay? Ready, set, go. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yes, you like that? Okay, so the reason why I wanted us to do that is because as I talk about Mother Read, which is how I'm going to tie in and inclusivity, I wanted all of you to realize that when we did that humming, right, were there times that you felt like you were running out of breath a little bit and that you had to kind of like take another breath and start over again? I hope you all did, because if not, I mean, I did. Yet the humming never stopped, right? Because when one of us was running out of breath a little bit, someone else was carrying us, right? And it always just stayed for the 2 minutes. It just kept going and going. So to me, without the popularity of what inclusivity means, that's kind of where I want you to keep that, right? How we were able to hold that space and that humming, and it never stopped. Even when we were all trying to catch our breath, right? We were trying to catch our breath at different times, at different moments, but the humming never went away, right? So, okay. So now for the not so yummy happy part is that, unfortunately, like Rachel said, inclusivity is one of those popular buzzwords now, right? How many of you love the word inclusivity? Oh, come on. Somebody's got to love it. Smart people, right? Because we know, right, that the opposite of inclusive is what? inclusive. And if you have to have something that says diversity and inclusion, it's because what? Right? Someone, somewhere, thought, well, I'm the norm. Not me, if I was white. And perfect, and the majority, and the power, and the best. And so I don't have to do anything different because I already am it. Right? So then when we start realizing, well, yeah, but our group looks so white. And the system is so white, and we're in charge. And then people start talking about race, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, we have to be diversity and inclusion. Because look at us, we don't have any color or melanin in our group. So I think that's where we start with we must have diversity and inclusion, and we need brown people for our brochures, and we need brown people to be on our boards, and we need brown people to X, Y, and Z, right? And we invite the brown people to the table, but then what happens? We're just the picture on the brochure. Or you say that you want me at the table, but not to share the power. You want brown voices at the table, and then when we give the brown voices, you're like, yeah, but next time. We'll talk about it. But maybe we got to go do this first, right? And it happens over and over and over and over again. And so then we get burnt out because we're asked to be on 900 things, and we think at some point, at the beginning, it happened with me too. Man, they must think I'm so good. They want me to be on everything. They want me for this board and that board and that board, right? And then after a little while, when I have to say, time out, this doesn't feel so good. Or time out again, this doesn't feel right. And time out, when are we going to talk about race? And over and over, and then you're kind of like, oh, I get it. That's what you wanted. You didn't want to talk about sharing the power. So I'm excited to say that now, obviously, those of you that know me, and I see many of you here that I absolutely love and adore, are my family, know that I am that person that is going to say, excuse me, time out over and over again, but it gets really exhausting and tiring. And so I'm glad that I have a lot of white allies and abolitionists and present that are just kind of like, I could just look, and they're like, girl, I got you, right? And sometimes it just feels really good to be able to just sit back and have somebody else to be that timeout person. Or bigger than timeout, just be like, I'm going to push back. That's not okay, right? So to me, inclusivity is a tool where we can keep people out or we can invite them in, right? And like Rachel explained, to me, it's about relationships. So I'm going to share a story. About 5 years ago, when I first started working for Asheville City Schools, I had a partnership with, I won't name the organization, about doing a group called Mother Read at Hillcrest. And people in the community said to me, Miss Marta, no one's going to show up. We've tried everything. And people just are not committed. They just don't care. They just don't want to do it. And I said, well, it's okay. I'm going to just try and see. One of us will get tired, and it's not going to be me. And those of you that know me know I have a lot of energy. And so every Wednesday, I spoke to my supervisor. I said, well, can I be the one that does the outreach at the community? He said, absolutely. So I started knocking on doors at Hillcrest. Every Wednesday, I'd go a little early, knocking on doors, and some people welcome me with open arms, and others are like, oh, I'm sleeping. Like, what's wrong with you? And others would just say, next time. Next Wednesday, do it again and again. Sometimes I had 2 moms. Sometimes I had 4 moms. Sometimes I had no moms, right? And people were like, I told you. And I was like, not done yet. So I kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. Now we're 5 years in, right? We have 28 mothers, right? We have 28. But it wasn't easy, and it was just really sticking to something that you believe in, and that when you're really interested in building relationships and not this inclusivity, I want to make sure that I love everyone, right? I have you in my brochure, I have brown people, woo, 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 right? No. You have to go in and you cry and you fight. We've had slamming of doors. We've had, I'm not coming back. I mean, we've had it all. We've had it all, right? But then we also now have worked through all of the yucky pieces to know that we are a family, right? That when E.T. is, Ethiopia right here in the front seat, talking to us about, I'm getting ready to have my baby, and they're telling me that I'm going to have a C-section, and this is what's happening, and we're all around the table because she's now getting ready to give birth, and we're all holding the space, and we're all praying or calling in, our energy and meditating and stuff. And I promised you, for those of you that are here that were there with me, right, we're holding hands and sending all of this beautiful energy to Ethiopia at the hospital. And as soon as we finish, we get a picture, pling, the baby was born, right? So, of course, we're screaming and crying and so excited, right? Because this is what we do. This is who we are now. And that was a beautiful story. And along with that one, then there's a really yucky story, too, right? When this baby arrives. And people don't trust that a woman of color, could absolutely take care of her own baby, right? The way that any of us would take care of our babies. And so problems began, and issues with doctors, and all kinds of painful experiences, right? The beautiful thing, she didn't have to face it alone, right? And who were your people, right? There's some of you, I don't even know if the people that were here were in the room, but you are. And I was like, excuse me, so what are you going to do right now? Oh, I was going on a hike. And I said, well, can you hike to E.T.'s house? Because DSS is trying to mess with her right now. Hell yeah, I'm on my way. And that's what happened. And I went too, but I'm not of color, but I still was there in support. And then to go through the process of then now speaking to the doctor and speaking to that organization and saying, like, who is responsible and how do y'all treat black women? And why is this okay? And us saying, it is not okay. And for us to be as a team knowing that you don't ever have to face any of these things ever alone again, right? It's a beautiful thing. And women now in the group, the white women that have joined the group, cried, have had hard times, and now are kind of like, no, I'm in it. I'm not going away. And now there's employment happening. There's moms that became doulas. There's moms that are doing consulting, that are getting employed by Mayheg, that we're just doing amazing things because we are friends, because we're all looking out for each other, right? To me, that sounds like inclusivity, even though I don't like it. But you know what? It's more about relationships. So I'm saying this to you to be thinking, in whatever place that you're in, and you're talking about diversity and inclusion, really think that it's about making that connection and having that place with a person where you're kind of like, I see you, I love you, we're in this together, you are not alone, right? That to me is different than saying, oh, you can be on my brochure, or we have brown people, my best friend is black, right? I have like 3 black friends. I have black kids that spend the night at my house, right? But we do that, and you hear it all the time. We have another situation with a mama that gave birth in the apartment that she lives in because she didn't want to go to the hospital. She didn't want to face racism. She said, my other babies were born in Atlanta, and I don't know what y'all do here. Right? I have permission to share this, by the way. And I was already at the hospital with a different situation, and she said, hey, look, baby's born. I was like, where are you? She said, at home. I was like, at home? She said, yeah, I don't want to deal with this. She said, because I'm worried. But then now the baby is here, and so she calls 911 to, I could bleed to death. And she gets to the hospital, and the same thing that she was afraid of is exactly what happened, right? They took the baby, and it's low blood sugar or something or whatever, and took the baby away, right? And so now she's silent because she's afraid that if she says, you better give me my baby back and let me put it on the breast like you would have done with any other mama, that they would sedate her and that she wouldn't be able to fight for her baby. So again, that phone call, Marsha, Ellen, right there. She said, I'm on my way. They're like, we're not leaving here until you give that baby back to her mama. So when we hear, because I heard a lot of you clapping about Brian Stevenson last night, about that, being proximate, right, and being so close to the situation, it's not just close to the situation and being like, oh, it's being in it, right, that you're in it. And so when the moms went there and they know, right, that you can go and make a difference, when he said last night, protect Black and brown people, we have that. And that's happening so beautifully for us every single day. I'm going to call on you, Kaola. Kaola is one of the newest members in Mother Read, and said to us a couple of weeks ago, you know what, I went to Raleigh for, I don't even know what it was, something with politics. And she said, I left early in the morning, and I wanted to stay the night because it's like, legs are tired or whatever. She said, but I was not missing Mother Read for nothing. So I drove my butt back here because I didn't want to miss it. And the first day, she said, I don't know any of you, but being in here and the energy and being around y'all, I know I belong. These are my people, right? For a Black woman that has lived here for 5 years and has not found her people to be around this table, and we hadn't even come into the room, and she said, I feel at home? That, to me, is what this is really about, right? Black, white, young. The youngest mom is 24. I don't know what our oldest is. Might be 76, right? All shapes, all colors, all sizes, all everything, with all the traumas, with all the yuckiness, with all the beauty, with all the amazing, with all the power, right, that is in that room, and us learning from each other. It's not, oh, I'm here to save the Black women, right? It's about, what am I going to learn? I sometimes say I want a refund from UNCA because I have not learned as much as I have in Hillcrest and Pisgah View, and really being in the community and listening and learning and writing down everything instead of going in there, I'm going to rescue you. And so I want you to keep that because many of you are here that are part of Mother Read, and I just want to ask you to stand for just a second. All of you. Yes, that just feels so good and so right and so beautiful. And so I want to close with just saying that right now, watching all of the movement with work and everything, because that's a thing, and seeing that mamas are now in facilitating roles and saying like, hey, I'm going to herbal school, and I am going to be facilitating, and I have accountability buddies. Does anybody know what accountability buddies are? Yeah? Yeah? We have a lot of those. And we want to make sure that we're in partnership with folks that are in positions of power to kind of check in with each other. It's not a gotcha. It's to say like, hey, you know what? I want to talk to you about something, and it doesn't feel so right what I heard you delivering right now, right? Before, when I didn't have all the language and I would be triggered or whatever, I was like, what did you say? What? Or, depending on the crowd, I would say, interesting. Right? But now I don't have to do that because I could just say, I'm going to push back on that and tell you from a loving place that that's not okay. That's painful. That's hurtful. And now people are beginning to open up and want to do this and have the conversations. And we can do it from a place of love. But like he said last night, it takes all of us, and we have to be in it together and not saving or whatever, but being in it, right? So that we can all thrive, so that we can all grow. Because we are not unhappy that white folks have a lot of access. We just want some of the same access too, without all the limitations like you heard Ajax saying, if I were a white man, what I could do, right? So thank you all so much.